Hey guys, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about arrays and what they are and how to use them. I'm going to use the first example in CodingBat to give you guys kind of a starting point for arrays. But the thing to pay most attention to is arrays are just collections of a like type. So we use types in Java like string or int, or we even classes are types. So I could say public class widget, and that is a type. Okay, you could have a bunch of different widgets. Well, arrays just hold collections of types. So for instance, if we look at this first one, it says given an array of ints, so it's just a collection of ints, return true if 6 appears as either the first or last element in the array. The array will be of length 1 or more. So when we say the length of an array, it means how many elements are in an array. So if I have 10 pieces of pizza, okay, that array is of type pizza, okay, and it has 10 elements. And we store each element in a place, and we number them. So the first element is always held at 0. The last element is, of course, the last element. It could be at item 1, 2, 3, 4. It just depends on how many items. If you have 10 pieces of pizza, it goes from 0 to 9. So look at this first example again. Return true if 6 appears as either the first or last element in the array. The array will be of length 1 or more. Well, there's this cool variable in Java called length that tells us the length of the array. Okay, so arrays are determined by square brackets, and their type is always written first. So let's jump at this. Okay, you see int and then brackets nums. Well, we've seen things close to this. We've seen int num or int nums. That is, nums is an int, right? When we have square brackets, nums still refers to an int, but it happens to be all of the ints. It's the collection now. So when we talk about the collection, we have to number what part of the collection we're talking about. So in this example, if nums 0, and we call that the index, if the first item in nums is 6, or, and you guys have seen the or statement, or the last item. So to get the last item, we take nums and we give it the index nums.length and then -1, and I'll tell you why in a second. If nums.length -1 equals 6, then what do? We return, I forget, tab doesn't work in this program, return true, and then otherwise we're going to return false. I could have an else here, I just choose not to. It's because it's going to automatically return true if my if is correct. Otherwise, it's just going to return false. I could have an else here, or I could choose not to. It doesn't matter. So what I've said is, if the first item is 6, or the last item. Now, the last item is going to be a little tricky to get a hold of at the beginning of Java, and I'll explain it to you with this example. This is if the array has 1, 2, and 6 in it. Say the array has 1, 2, and 6. That goes from index 0. Number 1 is held at index 0. Number 2 is held at index 1. The number 6 is held at index 2. So it goes 0, 1, 2. It always goes in order. So what is the last index? It is 2. 0, 1, 2. Okay? Well, how many elements does the array have? It has 3. Nums.length returns the number of elements it has. So if I want the last index, it's always going to be the number of elements minus 1. So nums 2, this would return if this were the example. Look at this one. This has how many elements? 4. It goes from 0 to 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. So it has 4 elements, but it goes from index 0 to 3. That's why it's nums.length -1. I bet if I hit go, I would do it all correctly. So that's the start of an array.